Well, hello there. It's Amanda Day and Kimberly HayDay Muga, and
Hello.
we're here for the December Mistakes Were Made episode. And to our Patreon subscribers, hi, hello, good to see you again. Um, if you are listening on your normal podcast feed and are like, what the heck are you talking about, Amanda? Also, hi, hello, glad to have you here. Um,
Welcome back.
so we have been podcasting and providing the Fundraising Heyday podcasts since our first season in 2018. But about a year ago, we finally were like, we should have a Patreon community. So, Kimberly, you want to give people a little insight into even what Patreon is in case they've never heard of that?
Patreon is a way for people who are able to financially support the podcasters and content creators that they really like, right? They really follow or they agree with or sometimes disagree with. It's like a membership platform. And there's the free version. Anybody can come on and check us out. And then there are different membership levels. And most podcasters do this because they may have ads. I know we've all heard all sorts of ads and all sorts of podcast content, and things like that usually cover and support, at least for us, our production costs. The
Yes.
podcast hosting site, Zoom, which is currently what we use to record this, the Zoom paid level, pro levels, um, sound
Sound.
engineer, all sorts of marketing and production costs. And that's great. And we are deeply appreciative. What it does not support is the time that we put in, hours and hours and hours that we love to do, but they're also not in the consultant parlance of billable hours, right? Because the podcast is free and we want it to be free. We don't want to gatekeep. We
Yeah.
believe we have good information. We believe we have some incredible thought leaders. But it does take a lot of time and energy and effort, finding guests, interviewing, coming up with scripts and outlines, even for the episodes that we're doing together, making sure we have current information, putting together show notes, all the things. And that's what goes into the sort of the creative part of the podcast. And we're asking that you consider, if this is something that you like to support, head on over to Patreon and give a look at our different levels and the different things that we have, including Mistakes Were Made, where each month one of us takes a turn to talk about mistakes that we made, because not enough people talk about their mistakes. I'm so tired of people going, oh, you just need to make sure everything is perfect on your grant before you turn it in. Really, Martha? Thanks for that. But what happens when things aren't perfect, and what can you do and what can you learn from it? And we're hoping that by being um, open and honest about these things, that it will help you learn. It will also help you share your mistakes and what you've learned with other people, because that's really the way we all get better.
Absolutely.
Really true growth usually comes when a mistake happens, as opposed to, and everything was fine and I got every grant I ever wrote and all my clients loved me. I really, you know what, Melissa Ray, just ease on down the road. That's not where we are. We're in the real world.
You like those M names today, Martha and Melissa Ray. I like
I'm
it.
just, I could have said Brit. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just calling out some names as they seem to move me. I don't know why. And if those are any of your names, I'm just using that as a device, and I'm not casting aspersions on you or yourself or what you've done in the world.
Nope. Very true. So we do this once a month. Our mistakes were made on our Patreon. If you, we're putting it here so you can hear it and kind of have an information. We also have free versions of all of our different monthly things we do, from playlists to book clubs to everything, right? Kimberly does a monthly musing. So we're going to have all of that on our Patreon website, which you can visit at any time. So it's Patreon, Patreon, patreon.com/fundraising heyday. And
We'll
you
put
can,
a link in our show notes. I
yes, we
mean,
absolutely will put a link in the show notes. So come check it out. We'd love to have you as a subscriber, and we continue to add content and grow and do things. And we try to have a lot of fun over on the Patreon, but also provide educational information like this mistakes were made. So why don't we go ahead and jump into it? Kimberly has graciously agreed to sit in the hot seat today. So why don't we start off with you just telling us about the mistake that you made? And I know this is a recent one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so go for it.
Nothing I'm proud of. Something I wish I hadn't done because I knew better.
Oh,
It's a two-parter. I'm giving you a special bonus second mistake related to the situation because I'm just that kind of given gal. And also, it's just a lesson. And I've been doing this for a long, long time. And I'll start off with the more technical thing. And this was a grant for an agency. With there were actually two grants. That's not the bonus part. There were two grants that were both due on the same day. And they came up more at the last minute. This may be a three mistaker, but I mean, I'm trying not to. Yeah, I fell down on this one. And I fell down on this one because I was distracted and stressed about things that were unrelated to this client.
yeah.
And I lost my focus.
Mhm.
So mistake number one, there were two grants that came up that I had done an extensive prospect research for this client, but they weren't on my radar. And I think and I had their past giving history. I think I was clearly not on the email list, and I'm glad the client saw it. And I'll fix that. That's an easy fix. That was the first mistake that doesn't even count. That's just get on game
Yeah.
and get on the email list so that when the funder agency, you'll get it first. But anyway, they were like, hey, this has been out. We really want to do it. And it was like 2 weeks before it was due. And it was a busy time for me. But I was also like, you know what? These seem pretty straightforward and easy and definitely right in your wheelhouse. And we've got some program language that we can use. We've got the stats, we've got the attachments.
And it wasn't a big federal grant, right?
No, 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 no. I should say that. No, no, no. It was not a big federal grant. Otherwise, I would not be sitting here because I would be locked away somewhere being heavily medicated, I guess. But no, it was feasible
Okay.
and doable.
Okay.
However, in the interest of saving time, haha, I did the thing I tell people over and over again not to do because I had made that mistake before. And by golly, I made it again. This is a PDF form that was fillable. And your girl thought, oh, well, easy peasy. I'll just put in the contact information. And what I always do or had done, I feel like that I'm one of those signs that says, the safety accident free signs at a business where it'll say,
In 30
you've
days.
had 30 million years since the last time you did this. Well, now I'm back to zero. I've had a week, I guess, 2 weeks. Y'all, I did not create a word template. I did not do it. You think, why did you do it, Kimberly? Because I was trying to save time. So I didn't create a word template of the PDF fillable, quasi-savable thing that this funder had created. I didn't do it because I thought it was going to save time. Because I've worked this agency before. I'm like, oh, I've got the first part. We've got all this stuff. We've got the mission, the vision, all the contact information, the budget, the this, the that. There were just 4 questions on one and 3 on another that were very short. And by very short, I mean under 200 words for each answer.
Okay.
So
I wish y'all could see your face right now.
I put them, I was like, I did this. I put them I was like, I emailed my contact. I'm like, hey, I know we're pressed for time. I know you got a lot going on. I'm just going to put the answers to those questions, right? And the budget form and the PDF form. I'm going to put the answers to the questions because they're so short for each one in an email. And you just look at it. And then let me know because I was feeling cocky that I had this and I was done. Well, here's what happened. And it's natural. And of course it happens. The client was like, oh, well, I've given it some thought and actually want to add these 2 things and take away this other thing. And I'm like, okay. And then I was like, but wait, the budget needs to match, right? So again, had I laid out everything and done it the way that I know works instead of trying to save time, it would have been all right. Well, so we went back and forth, back and forth. Then I emailed what I thought was the final version. I'm feeling good. I'm looking good. I'm ready to let it go 4 or 5 days before the deadline. It was Friday. I don't know. It was for the weekend. You need to always make sure, and I know this, that your client is able to open and read and edit if they need to a form that's a PDF. And you also need to make sure that the funder understands how to set that up to make it happen. And I didn't do any of those things. So what I ended up doing when I recognized it is I think I may have smacked my desk a couple times and screamed. But the third mistake, and this is really, I'm not proud of this at all, is I was like, why couldn't they just, and why didn't they just, and why? No, it was on me. I know better. There are a million things that I could have done. Mainly, do it the way I know it was going to work, and take the time and set up that form, and take the time and go. Are you sure this is this? And when they started making changes, go before we make changes. The budget has to match up too. So tell me either where I can find this information, or send it to me, or send me a link. It was like equipment type things that I really didn't know, you know, where they were. I could have done all that, but instead of going, well, Kimberly Jean Marie Esquire the Third, you have gotten yourself into quite a pickle. I was getting frustrated with them, and they were living their very busy lives, doing good things in the community. And so that was my third mistake. And so once I got over myself and I was like, hey, guess what? You're going to stay up, and finally it got so bad that there were changes going back and forth in emails. I just had to start over again.
Yeah.
And I just downloaded the forms, and I cut and I pasted, and I cut and I pasted, and I did the thing I should have done a week ago at that point. And the grants went out, but it was a real scramble, and it was stressful for me, and it was stressful for them. And I should have known better.
Yeah. And how, like, what was were you able to get it in a day before, or were you talking hours? Were you talking, was it like a
Hours,
last minute scramble?
hours,
Yeah.
hours,
Which feels good,
hours.
doesn't it? Always. Ugh.
Well, I mean, it was just, and it was one of those things where they were sending it in, and
Okay.
finally I was like, hey, oh, yes. I usually work that way with clients. I'm like, you're pressing the submit button because of things, and you may not work like that as a consultant. I get it. I get it. It's a personal choice. It's fine.
Yeah.
But it was I thought I had one final. I'm like, look, I know there's been a lot of emails. Can we just jump on a Zoom call? Can I show you this? Because I really want to make sure it's okay.
Yeah.
And he was like, absolutely. And I was like, name your time. And we're going to get this done and get it out. And then the contact came on, and I realized that that person was not in their office. They were out in the facility and the program handling something that was going on. And that's when I was like, okay, Miss Priss, you were getting all, why don't they, blah, blah, blah. Now, you're like, you're the one that you could have saved yourself time and this person time, and this person is having to manage a programmatic thing, and they're talking to you at the same time, and the grant is due, and you know better, so do better. And so we had a meeting today, and I was like, hey, in the future, here's how it needs to be, and because no one likes that scrambly feeling. And the thing that really set me back was the client contact. Then after it was all done, he emailed me and he was like, I really appreciate you.
Oh.
And I was like, I I don't know why. But I just wrote him back and I just said thank you. But inside I'm like, I show my ass a little bit on this one, because I was like, oh yeah, I can do it. We can just do it this way. It doesn't really matter. And you know what? Every grant matters, especially to them.
Yeah.
And if I had simply followed my own procedures, and listened when things started getting a little bit off the rails, and just go, hey, let's just jump on a quick call and we'll talk through this. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that was that's a two-parter. There was the technical part, and then there was the me getting frustrated that my time cutting measures were blowing up, and then trying to deflect it on someone else when it was me.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? That kind of reminds me though of like I remember in college, like my freshman year, my first like big paper I'm having to write, right? So I put together my timeline and this is I had to go to the library for everything back then because you didn't really I didn't have internet in my dorm and because I'm a 90s college kid but I remember I'm in the library like 2 days before the paper's due, literally editing my what I hope is my last round of edits until I can go type my final paper. And I remember a senior that was in my class coming in and he was like, "Hey, started your paper yet?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm about done." "Oh, what about you?" "Oh, I'm just starting." And I remember thinking, what on earth? But then fast forward to me being a senior, and yeah, I wasn't as, it was kind of like, "Oh, I know what I'm doing. It's fine. It'll be fine." And I think as grant professionals, I know I've been guilty of that, where it's like when I teach, I tell everybody, this is how you need to do. You need to plan, you need to have forethought, you need to da 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 da. But then, especially when it's the easy ones, I'm like, I can knock this out in no time. Like it can be very easy, I think, at least for me, for my ego to think I don't have to follow the rules because I got this and there's a million other things I really need to be worrying about. So I'm going to knock this out real quick.
This,
That's
this,
this is what
this.
happens. Yes. And
I,
it's
I didn't, I
sometimes
didn't
we need
treat it.
to be knocked down a peg to remind ourselves that no, you're not any better than any other grant writer. There is a process for a reason and we should.
Yeah, processes that I created that were
Yes.
successful for me
Yes.
and the agencies and clients that I work with. And it was, yeah, I was just like, oh, it's just this thing. I mean, sure, it's a little last minute, but blah, blah, blah. And then it was like, wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we're still we're working together. But that broke me. It was like, I really appreciate you. And I was just like,
Why I
I
made
don't
your
think,
life harder than it had to be this week.
I made all our lives harder. But by the same token, it's like, but we also need to stack hands in the beginning.
Yes.
Here's some things we can do
Yes.
together. And
Mhm.
it's okay to sort of change it up. But if we are in a tight deadline, are there things, and it's not a high stakes grant, because there will be others that are much higher stakes. Can we create something that can move through, and serve everybody's needs without creating that back and forth? But once we get into, oh gosh, there's this and that, then that's time for me to go, we're going back to this Word document.
Yeah.
Here's where it is. All changes here. Let's meet. Let's have a Zoom
Yes.
call. Or if they were in town, I would have driven over there, I swear to God, and just
Yeah.
gone, let's go through it, because I feel like we can resolve this. It could have, yeah. It's like I knew better, but yeah, I was just like, oh, I've got this. I don't need to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. And instead, I spent a lot more time on that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
that was it.
Very true. Well, I mean, it's a good reminder for all of us. So sometimes people are like, "Oh, mistakes were made. These are probably for, newbies." Well, yes, but also for those of us who've been around for 20, 25, 30 years need reminders because we can let our egos get the better or just thinking for whatever, whether it's your ego or not, just time crunches, different things.
I was stressed and I was like, oh my God, okay, okay, okay. I can just do it this way. It doesn't matter. I don't have to do it that way. It'll be fine. They'll get it. We work together. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And of course, I mean,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
that's not the way. That's not the way. Do your thing, get the buy-in, do it right away.
Also, you referred to yourself as Kimberly Jean, and so now I've got the song, well, a little twist on the song. Kimberly Jean is not my lover, stuck
I
in my
mean,
head. So thanks for that.
I'm here to help. And by the way, I don't have a middle name.
That's right. We've had this conversation before. Well, Kimberly Jean works.
Bonus, and that wasn't no mistake were made. That was the name my
The
mama
choice
gave me. Okay, there's no
was
mistake.
made.
She made the choice. It was my name is Kimberly Hayes.
Hmm.
That was it. Kimberly Hayes, no middle name, or Kimberly N. No,
In
no,
M
yeah, whatever.
or
And yeah,
NMI,
so
no middle initial, no middle nothing. Yeah,
no middle name. Yeah. So yeah. So
crazy,
that's what it
crazy.
is. That's what it is. She said two names were enough. And I mean, okay.
Well, you could have been like me and been Marie, like thousands of other women in my generation and beyond.
Fair. I
So,
think, yeah, I think probably a popular middle name for me would have been maybe Kimberly Ann.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
But given when I was born and where I was born, but anyway. So
mm,
now you know.
I
And if you're
hear you though.
never, I think the best thing to do is to just, when you realize you made a mistake, is just go, yeah,
Own it,
here's the
fix it.
solution. Own it up. Don't be deflecting it. Come up with a solution and move through and just own it and realize that, yeah.
Mhm. Yep. So, well, thanks for joining us for this December edition of Mistakes Were Made. And again, like Kimberly said at the beginning, we share these so we can all learn from them. And, I love the phrase, be ye not so stupid. So hopefully you are not making the same mistakes. But if you do, know that it happens to the best.
No, everybody
Everybody does it.
does something.
Yeah,
Everybody's made a mistake. I don't care what they're projecting on their flawless feed. I don't really care what's on their website. I don't care. They have. The difference is whether or not you can share and whether or not we can help each other learn.
absolutely. So if you want more of this and our other goodness, remember to visit patreon.com/fundraising heyday. We hope to see you over there in that community. And thanks for joining us today. Hope everybody has a happy holidays. And we look forward to seeing you in 2026 with new episodes of the podcast and all of our bonus content as well.
Patreon, check it out.
Bye.
Bye.